Today we are going to talk about the 5 lessons that I think we can all learn from the ocean about how to deal with angry people, especially on a day like this. Hey guys, in case you haven't seen me before, my name's Hayden Richards. I am an emergency physician when I'm working. At the moment though, I'm on holiday and I am at a place called Skeens Creek. It is a beautiful part of the world, a beautiful spot, except that today the ocean is angry. Okay, so what has any of this got to do with dealing with angry people? Well look, the first thing is that when you encounter someone who's angry, even if it seems like it's something that you've done or some part of the situation that you're involved in that has created that anger, almost certainly, almost all the time, the real source of that anger is from some event that happened a long time ago and a long way away.
Hey guys, I was just doing the edit on this video and I realized I don't think I did a very good job of explaining myself here. I certainly do not mean that I think we should disregard or disown our role in our contribution to another person's anger. There are times when I absolutely contribute to someone's anger, and when that happens, I think it's really important that I own up to that I apologize and that I take ownership of it. But I think it is also really helpful, or it has been helpful to me anyway, to help me remain as calm as possible in the face of someone's anger, that I distinguish between the trigger of the emotion, which I may have contributed to, and the source of the emotion, which the vast majority of the time I have not contributed to. There are all kinds of things that can lie behind anger. It can be fear, it can be grief, it can be pain, and it can be deep trauma that may have happened a long time ago in a completely different situation. And I guess it's that situation, that trauma, which is more common than we care to admit, which is probably most suited to this metaphor of anger and the emotion. Anyway, I'll get out of the way so you can continue with the video.
And it's the same like with these waves. These waves, these sizable waves, are from an event that happened a long way away and quite some time ago, maybe a few days ago. There was probably a storm in the Southern Ocean, a long way southwest of here, maybe even in the Southern Indian Ocean, and it would have ruffled the surface of the water, created little wavelets, and those wavelets would have joined together to create small waves, and those small waves would have joined together to create bigger waves. And eventually there would have been a big swell train created, and that swell would have traveled thousands of kilometers across the ocean before finally reaching the shore here on the southern coast of Australia and just discharging all its energy onto the sandbars and rocks right here. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that when I can remember that, when I'm dealing with someone who's clearly frustrated and angry, it just helps me not take it so personally. It just helps me stay calm. Okay, so the second lesson that I'm trying to take away from the ocean, the angry ocean today, is that it is really valuable to separate the emotion from the person. You could ask yourself, like, what is a wave? What is one of these things? And when you look at it, what it looks like is a body of water, a part of the ocean moving across the ocean. But in fact, when you look at the physics of waves, the wave itself is actually just energy. It's energy moving through the ocean. And you could think of anger or any emotion really in much the same way. You could think of it as energy moving through a person. And when I can just bring myself, and I'll be honest, I'm not always successful at this, not by a long shot, but when I can bring myself to really see that emotion is just energy moving through the person, it really helps me to maintain contact with my humanity and also with my compassion for that person, because I can see that this is a temporary event and that they are being affected by this as much, or more than likely even more than I am. All right, now I want to show you something really cool, because the third thing is to do with the wind. Now, it's kind of hard to tell. It's probably hard for you guys to tell what's happening with the wind here, but the wind is actually coming over my shoulder and towards the camera. And so it's what you call an onshore breeze, an onshore wind. And what that's doing to the waves is it's just messing them up. It's sort of adding to their energy, if anything. Adding to the violence and to the turbulence of the whole situation here. Now, I'm gonna cut the camera in a moment, and I'm gonna head down the coast that way, 5 minutes. And the difference is astounding. Now the breeze is coming from the camera towards me, so from the land out to sea. And so it's an offshore breeze. And what that does, just through the pure change in angle here, is that it cleans the waves up, makes them easier to handle, much more manageable. Also, because I've come around the bay, there's a more acute angle on the swell, and the swell loses some of its power as it refracts around the point. The point I'm trying to make is that when you're faced with an angry person, often the first angle that you're presented with may not be the best angle. It may be worth your while just taking a moment to think, well, is there a better approach to this? Is there a better angle? What are my options? Okay, so the fourth thing that I think is a fantastic idea that you can learn from the ocean is that if you have the time, make sure you take the opportunity to prepare. Now, if I just ran out into the water wearing this stuff, I would be completely exposed to the elements, and I'd be pretty uncomfortable pretty quickly. But on the other hand, if I got ready like this, I'm going to be fine. I mean, I'm prepared now. I've got the right stuff ready. Now, I don't always get the chance to prepare myself before I have to, encounter or deal with an angry person. Often it just comes out of the blue. But I know that if I do have the opportunity, I'm always grateful when I actually think to take some time to prepare. And what do I mean by prepare? Well, I mean just having to think about the 3 ideas that we've already discussed in this video. Okay, so I guess I'm ready to go. It's tempting now to just head straight out and start paddling, confront those waves. And in the same way, when I encounter an angry person, it is tempting to just go in there and confront them. And to say to them, no, you can't behave like this. And I guess I do want to be clear that there is a role for this. There is a role for this approach. Having said that, confrontation may not be the best long-term strategy. What if I was to just take a little bit more time to try and understand the situation? What if I was just to engage my curiosity just a little bit more? What would I see? What would I discover? And when I look out the coast, when I look out at the beach just here, I can see that if I paddled straight out here, I'd be going, directly into the incoming waves. But if I walk just another 80 meters that way, there is a rip current. And the beautiful thing about rip currents for surfers, maybe not for swimmers, but for surfers, is that the rip current it's like a conveyor belt that basically just carries you out beyond the breakers to the point where you can sit out the back and wait for a decent wave to catch. In other words, you're no longer fighting the forces of nature, you are aligning yourself with the forces of nature. And I guess the thing I take away from that is that sometimes, even when you feel prepared, even when you considered your angle, it's worth just intentionally engaging your curiosity and trying to get a bit more of a feel for the lay of the land, seeing if there is a way that you can align with this person. Because more often than not, the thing that they're angry about, if you look behind that, it's something that you can agree with them on. Like, that in some basic way, people shouldn't be treated badly. In some basic way, it's frustrating to be in a situation where you don't have enough information. There are ways, almost always, I think, to empathize with people who are angry. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head out for a paddle. I may or may not catch some waves, but I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will catch you in the next video.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, especially for making it all the way to the end of this one. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to read your comments. Put them in the section down below if you have the time, and I'll see you next video. Cheers.